best build order for Phoenix. This is going to be just generally I'm sorry, not cannons, carriers. It's kind of the easiest build order for him. I'll quickly show my mastery points. I'm not going to do this. This is by far better. And other than that, really not too much to talk about. We're just going to do it on lock and load. Kind of a mission that has a late enough spawn time for the enemy units that you can really focus on getting out your economy. This will work on quite a few different maps. I'll list those probably at the end of this. But the whole idea is cannon at your natural, sorry, not cannon, pylon at your natural, followed by 2 cannons, probably followed by a nexus after that. And then just basically stay on top of your pro production the whole time. Basically, as soon as you get out your nexus is when you're going to want to get gases, though.
There are not enough.
So I'm going to rally this first probe over.
You arrived just in time, commanders. Amon is attempting
so that I can get this out as soon as possible.
Celestial locks. We must activate all 5 locks in order to stop him. Units from both of your
I'm pretty much just going to be waiting here to get my 2 cannons. Now this is a map that's got a small enough distance between the two that you could actually do one set of minerals, but it's really not going to work. Cool. So I'm going to get a cannon out as soon as possible, and then I'll get a second cannon out as soon as I can. And that way I'll be able to take out the rocks as fast as possible.
Insufficient minerals.
Again, staying on top of my production here. The most important thing you can get out is your nexus. Unfortunately, cannons take a little bit of time to get done. So, it depends on the map too, but one of the other things that you can do, because you're going to get a little bit oversaturated here on your main, is to transfer drones above 14 over here. It's really kind of a, not necessarily a thing you need to worry about, especially on lower level play, and honestly in any co-op mission you're not really going to be too stressed about that, to be honest. You are going to have enough minerals for an extra pylon, so I'm going to get that out now. I put it in my main. And then as soon as you get this nexus out is when you're going to want to double gas.
We must construct a...
That should be finished up. And now at this point we're pretty much just going to get the gases going. Once that's done, you can probably start working on at least one Stargate. Make sure that you saturate these gases as soon as possible. Once you get full saturation over here, then you can start rallying over there. One of the crazy things about Phoenix is because you can go pretty much straight to carriers, you really need to get some extra pylons out pretty fast. Now, the first attack wave for most of the maps, except for like I think it's Rifts to Core Hall and a few other ones, you really don't have to worry about anything else. You can just basically spawn Phoenix and take care of everything that comes.
These Terrans stand no chance against us.
And then again, just making sure I stay on top of all of my production and probes.
A celestial lock is being claimed by Amon. If left uncontested, it will fall under his control and begin to destabilize.
So I'm basically waiting for this to finish and I'll get my first carrier out.
It will soon be under our
And then make sure you get this one as well. I'm going to chrono boost both of those.
More minerals required.
And again, staying on top of your probes is really important.
Amon's forces have seized the
I'm waiting a little bit to get these 2 gases because I would like to get a little bit more mineral income, because that basically allows me to get up all of my production facilities, because they only require minerals, not anything else. Okay, now that those are done, I'm going to double saturate. And get another carrier. So basically the only thing left to kind of finish up for Phoenix here is just how many Stargates. So I usually do 2 Stargates. Sorry, 4 Stargates while I'm doing upgrades, and then once I finish upgrades, you can get up to like 6, depending on if you like to get the armor upgrades and everything else that you can get for characters. Again, we're just staying on top of everything, making sure I get pylons out preemptively. I like to spread them out a little bit so they're not all in just the same spot. I'm going to go ahead and start getting my cybernetics now.
We require additional pylons. We cannot.
The enemy is attempting to capture a celestial lock.
Join me in glorious battle.
I'll make it double. Why not?
Join your ally to claim the objective.
And so at this point, we're just going to keep working on
Our
building
foe has
carriers.
captured one of the
I already got
locks.
that going, so I'm going to set
Reclaiming
that
it is
over
your main
here.
objective.
The enemy.
Every time you warp in a carrier, make sure that you're basically building a pylon. Especially when you're still making probes. Once you finish making probes, it becomes basically 1.5 carriers for every pylon.
By Amon's void energies. It would be an act of mercy to destroy it.
Firstborn have
Some
engaged
upgrades.
the enemy.
The lock has been
I'm going to switch my
We must
chronos
endeavor
to
keep it that
my
way.
cybernetics. And then you can start working on the hero carrier at pretty much any point you want. It doesn't need to be rushed out. One of the things that's kind of unfortunate about the hero carrier is it doesn't do as much, it doesn't have as quick as attack speed, and it doesn't get the
Activating defensive drone.
catapult. That basically makes it so your carriers spawn their interceptors faster. So rushing them isn't necessarily the best thing. The hero carrier, he's good, he does a lot of damage, but he's not exactly as best at kind of keeping himself, keeping the enemy distracted with an interceptor because they don't come out as fast.
Upgrade complete.
But now that I'm ready to go, I got my hero interceptor, my hero carrier.
Amon's forces are moving to
I'm
seize
gonna build
the
a couple more of
celestial
these
lock.
because I have the minerals. There's nothing really else to spend on minerals. The other thing that I like to do too is get a forge out so that I can get the detection for my
Our allies
armor
are
suit.
engaged in battle.
And then usually what I do is I just send all of my Stargates to rally
Amon's
to
minions have
my
taken a lock in his
carriers.
name. This cannot go unanswered.
The other cool thing about Phoenix, again, doing this build,
We must construct
is that
additional
honestly all you have to
pylons.
do is just make carriers, and then it's pretty much a move to win.
Firstborn have
There's really not much
engaged the
else to
enemy.
it.
Upgrade
You don't really
complete.
need to necessarily watch
Our
your
allies are engaged in battle. We have not enough Vespine.
And then usually once I've gotten my cloak detection out, I'll just warp in my
Our
arbiter.
pylon is under attack.
Bringing a defensive drone online.
Hunger for battle.
More Vespine is required.
Deploying onto the front line.
And at this point, I have a little bit more Stargates than I need. But again, once these are done, once I'm done getting upgrades, then I won't really need anything else. And then I'll be able to utilize more and more Stargates.
The objective is ours.
The celestial lock will soon be under enemy control.
Carrier has arrived.
Our allies are engaged in battle.
Really not much else to do now. And that's one of the cool things about Phoenix, but not necessarily the most fun thing about Phoenix. I like him, but my favorite composition will always be gateway only because it just requires so much more micro.
Engaged the enemy.
And I like that fact of it. So I'm pretty much 3/4 of the way done here, so I'm going to start saving up some gas to make sure I get the rest of my upgrades.
We cannot allow Amon's army to take control of this.
So we're almost done here, and I didn't want to get too far ahead.
Our allies are engaged in battle.
And we should be able to get last upgrade there. right now.
Look,
So like I said, about 3/4, maybe a little bit later than that is when you want to start saving up. I didn't realize you could do that. That's so funny. But yeah, that's when you want to start saving up a little bit of your gas so that you can get your upgrades. Once those are done, I have nothing else to worry about, so I should be able to fully utilize all of my stargates. I'm going to take just a little bit to get to that point, because I didn't use all of my gas on
seems like we could use a defensive drone.
my upgrades. But now that we're done with that,
Destroy the construct. Amon can no longer use it against us.
we're going to head
Piece
over
of
here.
cake.
And again, at this point, really nothing else to worry about. Got all my upgrades. You can see that I'm building up a lot of minerals. One of the things I would like to normally do with that is just build a bunch of cannons. Why the hell not? You could fortify locks with this. You can do whatever. But again, this is an A-move army that requires like absolutely no micro at all. There's nothing you have to worry about. So right now I'm just going to drop this, activate the bonus thing, or activate it, and then just spam this, and I already took care of that whole one.
Claim the objective.
Really, again, as soon as you get 200 gas, make sure that you're warping in some pylons, or sorry, warping in some carriers, making sure you're staying on top of all of your supply. You don't want to get supply blocked like this. Warp back in the Arbiter. And put them to there. Head over
If
there.
we secure the two that are left, we will have saved Omar.
Again, making sure I stay on top of everything. Very little left else to do.
The firstborn have engaged the enemy. We require more Vespine gas. Our allies are engaged in battle.
Like I said, this is
Defensive drone.
one of the easiest ways to do it, but not necessarily the most enjoyable ways to do this.
Firstborn have engaged the enemy.
But the basic idea, again, is two cannons, or sorry, a pylon warped in at your nexus, or your expansion. Once you've gotten that done, warp in two cannons. Basically wait for those cannons to finish. Take care of the rocks. You can build one extra pylon, if you'd like, in the meantime. Once you get your nexus up, double gas.
Presence to claim the objective.
Once you get your double gas, get a Stargate and a fleet beacon,
Our allies are engaged in
and then pretty much just kind of follow the natural build order from there. You can build up to 4 Stargates and properly utilize them until you get all of your upgrades. Once you've gotten all of your upgrades, then that's when you can start working up to 6 Stargates. It's really like 6 1/4 Stargates, because you can see that I'm still here,
The enemy
but
has
you know, you
seized
don't need
the
to worry too
celestial
much.
lock. We must take it back.
Activating defensive drone.
the firstborn have engaged the enemy.
So you can make a 7th if you'd like, but you can see that really, ultimately, you're going to have a little extra here or a little under. So it's really like 6 Stargates is really where you want to be. You can just spam cannons all over the place if you want,
We cannot work there.
just to get rid of some of the extra stuff, but not super worried.
The celestial lock has fallen into Amon's grasp. We must wrest control of it before it's too late.
Fear my blades in time.
And you can see we're already at max supply. Because again, I can't make any more.
Everyone in the ship. Go, go, go!
We have
That's
activated
pretty much it. There's not much else to say. If anybody has any questions, make sure to ask in chat, or to go ahead and post it in the comments section if you're watching this on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. See if there's anything else to worry about. It is the easiest A-move army you'll ever make in your entire life.
Our claim is secure.
all 5
But that's the way to get the fastest amount of carriers out.
Amon will be unable to bypass.
Now, certain missions like
Well done, commanders.
Chain of Ascension,
Omar is safe.
you're not going to be able to get to your expo as fast. So I will actually prioritize making 2 Stargates so that I can get out 2 carriers, because I won't be able to finish maximizing my economy. Or like missions like Rifts to Core Hall, where the first attack wave comes a little sooner. Maybe it's good to get out a gateway and a hero legionnaire, or to just go ahead and get 1 or 2 cannons at your main to build you enough time to wait for Phoenix to come out. Other than that, I can't really say there's too much going on. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Hunter AFI.